Wire stood on the balcony of her room. The moonlight painted everything silver, but her thoughts were heavy. No matter how hard she tried, she couldn't shake the feeling of his lips on hers, or the ache in her heart from what he did. Just then, a soft knock echoed at her door. She didn't respond. A moment later, the door creaked open. She turned sharply, ready to yell, but stopped. On the floor just inside the room was a tray, a single plate of warm food, her favorite. No note, no message, just that. She didn't touch it at first, but when her stomach growled louder than her pride, she gave in. "YN, you think food is enough to make me forgive you, jerk." She snatched the fork with more attitude than grace and took a bite like it didn't taste like home. Sunlight peeked through the curtains, lazy and golden. She stretched, only to pause when her fingers brushed something soft, a rose, crimson, fresh, tucked neatly beside her pillow like it belonged there. She frowned, sat up, her heart beat faster, but not in the way she hated, in the way she feared. She padded into the bathroom. The mirror was fogged from her morning shower, but something was scrawled across the glass, written by a finger that knew every curve of her. 2 words, simple, possessive, maddening, "Still mine." Her chest tightened. She grabbed a towel and scrubbed it off like it meant nothing, like it didn't make her knees feel a little weak. Taehyung, on the other hand, didn't force himself into her space. He didn't knock again. He didn't speak. He didn't beg, but she felt him, in the shadow that lingered too long in the hallway, in the faint scent of smoke and cedar wood in the kitchen, in the warmth just outside her bedroom door. He was everywhere but never in her way, giving her space, but never distance. He was waiting, and that made it worse, because a part of her, traitorous and tired, was starting to wonder if being his was really the worst thing in the world. Yn was staring at the sunset when she heard a soft melodic sound. She came downstairs to find the piano in the main room lit with soft candlelight. A record played in the background, an old romantic tune, haunting and slow. Taehyung was seated there, back to her, fingers gliding across the keys effortlessly. He didn't look at her, didn't speak. Yn stood frozen at the doorway. There was something raw in the music, something heavy. When he finally stopped, she whispered before she could stop herself, "Yn, why are you doing this?" He turned, eyes dark and unreadable. "Taehyung, because I ruined you." A pause, a breath, "And I think I ruined myself too." Yn stood still, stunned. His voice wasn't laced with arrogance or cruelty this time, just regret, and that scared her more than his gun ever did. "Yn, it's hard to believe you. You broke my trust once. You handed me over like I was nothing, then went to buy me like I'm an object. Taehyung, you don't have to believe me, just know that I need you." "Yn, why are you desperate? You're the mafia king. You could have anyone, anything." "Taehyung, but I just want you, and it's only you who make me desperate." She blinked, her chest tightened. "Yn, how? We just spent a few hours together, running, hiding, bleeding. That's not love, it's chaos." "Taehyung, even a moment is enough to fall. It's just realization that takes time." Yn opened her mouth to argue, but nothing came out, because deep down, she knew, she had fallen for him in that short time too. Between danger and safety, between his gun and his warmth, her silence was her answer. She slowly turned and walked out of the room, didn't run, didn't slam the door, just walked away, because she didn't trust herself to stay. Taehyung didn't follow. He sat still, the piano keys cold beneath his hands, listening to the sound of her footsteps fade. Yn wandered through the grand halls of Taehyung's mansion like a ghost. She didn't speak to anyone, didn't look back. Her heart was heavy with memories and his words, until she returned to her room, and found it transformed. The wilted curtains were replaced with soft ivory drapes. A vase of her favorite flowers, daisies, sat on the table. A new white dress was laid out across the bed, delicate and elegant, her size exactly, and beside it, a single black velvet box. She hesitated, then opened it. A delicate chain, a small pendant shaped like a bullet, but instead of cold steel, it was made of crystal, filled with a shimmer of pink. Her breath caught, then she saw it, the note underneath, his handwriting.
"Since I stole your freedom, the least I can do is give you back your wings. Dinner. 7 p.m. Wear the dress or I'll rip the door off and dress you myself."
She tried to resist. She did, but curiosity and something deeper pulled her to the dining hall. Taehyung was already there, leaning against the chair, wearing a black silk shirt with his sleeves rolled up, tattoos peeking from his chest, a wine glass in his hand. When he saw her, his lips curled, not into a smirk, into something softer, almost reverent. Taehyung, you look like something I can't own, but I want to anyway. YN, romantic, comparing me to your guns now. He chuckled and held out the chair for her. Taehyung, no, my guns are replaceable. You're not. She sat down with a defiant sigh, arms crossed. YN, you think flowers and dresses will fix what you did? Taehyung, no, but I'll do worse to anyone who dares hurt you again, including myself. She stared at him. YN, you're insane. Taehyung, I was sane before you. YN gave him a glare, but didn't said anything. She complete her dinner and went back to her room. That night, YN couldn't sleep. Taehyung's words kept echoing in her head. She sat on the bed with the moonlight spilling across her lap. Her heart said one thing, her mind another. Then came the knock, 3 times, slow, confident. She opened the door to find a box sitting outside, wrapped in black velvet ribbon. Inside it, a simple silver anklet with a tiny dragon charm, delicate, but symbolic. A note was tucked underneath.
For the girl who chained my heart.
The next morning, YN entered the grand dining room to find it empty except for one man, Taehyung, leaning on the table, shirt sleeves rolled up, sipping black coffee. Taehyung, good morning, Mrs. Kim. YN, stop calling me that. He rose from the chair and walked up to her, slow, deliberate. Then he leaned in, close enough for her to feel his breath on her ear. Taehyung, then give me another name to scream at night. She shoved him back, cheeks flushed, and stormed past him, but he only chuckled. Another night, stormy. YN couldn't sleep. Thunder shook the windows. She stepped out into the hallway and froze. Taehyung was there, outside her door, sitting on the floor with his back against the wall, one arm resting on his knee, eyes closed. YN, what are you doing here? Taehyung, guarding what's mine. YN, I'm not yours. He opened his eyes and smiled, dark, but soft. Taehyung, you are. Days started passing like this. Sometimes, he's gentle, soft smiles, glances that linger too long, feeding her dessert with his own fork just to see her flustered. Sometimes, he's not, pinning her wrists to the wall when she mouths off, whispering things that make her knees weak, reminding her with every stare that she's wanted not just in body, but in soul. Some days, he brought her books, her favorite meals, even let her go to the garden under heavy guard, of course. Other days, he pushed her against the wall, trapping her between stone and body, whispering how easily he could destroy anyone who looked at her. The moon was high when YN quietly opened her bedroom window. She had memorized the guard's rotation for days. Taehyung had loosened her leash just enough, trusted her too much, or so she thought. She climbed down the trellis carefully, her hands trembling. Her bare feet touched the ground, cold, wet from the dew. But she didn't stop. Her white nightdress fluttered behind her like a ghost in the dark. Just a few more steps. She reached the edge of the estate walls. Her heart was thudding. Her pulse tasted like freedom, until a whisper behind her, low, calm, terrifyingly calm. Taehyung, did you really think I wouldn't notice the way your eyes kept looking at that window? YN spun around. He was leaning against a tree, not running, not yelling, just watching her, a single black glove on his hand, his shirt half unbuttoned, hair a little tousled like he rolled out of bed the moment she left. YN, stay away. But instead he started walking slowly toward her. Taehyung, stay, my love, you were the one trying to leave. She backed away, panic blooming. YN, you don't own me. Taehyung, no, but I've memorized every inch of you. I don't need chains when your soul already echoes mine. YN, you're sick. She's shaking now. Taehyung, stop in front of her. Taehyung, maybe, but you knew that when you kissed me. A silence stretched, and then, so gently it was almost cruel, he reached out not to grab her, but to brush a strand of hair behind her ear. She flinched. Taehyung, I was going to wait, let you come to me again, but now I'm scared. She blinked, startled, his eyes darkened. Taehyung, because if I let you go one more time, I don't know if I'll be able to stop myself from burning everything to get you back. She stared at him, the terrifying mafia king who was now confessing like a broken man. Her voice came out as a whisper. YN. Then why let me go the first time? His head lowered. Taehyung. Because I thought loving you would destroy you. He took a slow breath. Taehyung. But not loving you, it's destroying me. She didn't know what broke her more, the sadness in his eyes, or the truth in his voice. YN took one step back, but that was all she got. In one fluid move, Taehyung closed the distance, his arms wrapping around her waist as he lifted her effortlessly off the ground. YN, no, put me down. I'm not going back. She starts struggling. Taehyung, you'll hurt yourself if you keep squirming. Love, he whispered in her ear calmly. She beat her fists against his chest, once, twice, then her hands trembled and fell weak. YN, why are you like this? Why you always treat me like an object? Her voice cracked. Taehyung, you're not an object. You're someone I need to live. The wind was cold, but his embrace was terrifyingly warm. He didn't speak again until they reached the house. He kicked the door open gently, walked through the quiet halls like he was carrying something precious. He took her, not to her previous room, but to his room. He set her down gently on the bed, cupping her face with gloved fingers. Her cheeks were stained with tears, her eyes filled with rage and pain. Taehyung, you can scream at me, hate me, try to run again if you must, he said softly, and leaned in, his breath brushing her lips. Taehyung, but from now on, you'll do it with my name on your tongue. YN, you're cruel, she whispered, broken. Taehyung rested his forehead against hers. Taehyung, I never claimed to be kind, just yours. She looked away, but his gaze is fixed on her. He didn't kiss her, not yet. He just looked at her like he'd memorized every crack in her soul. Taehyung, I'll earn your forgiveness, even if I have to drag it from your screams and your silence. He stood, stepped away, and went to the door. Before leaving, he spoke once more. Taehyung, good night, Mrs. Kim. And with that, he left her in the room that no longer felt like a prison, but like a battlefield she couldn't win.